Hello students. In the last session we have discussed testing procedures for different materials like testing of tensile test procedure, compression test procedure and shear test, impact test procedures we have discussed in the previous sessions. In the last session we have discussed mainly shear test, impact test and what is meant by shear strength and impact strength and what are the different types of tests that are available for shear test and what are the different types of tests that are available for impact testing we have discussed. Okay, so in shear test we are having single shear test and double shear test, and impact test we are having Charpy impact test and IJAD impact test. And later we have discussed how to find out shear strength and impact strength by using formulas. These things we have discussed in the previous session. So what we are going to discuss today is we are going to discuss how to find out hardness of a material by using different testing procedures. So these things we are going to discuss in this session. See here. So how to find out the hardness of a material by using Brinell hardness testing machine, and what are the advantages and limitations of Brinell hardness testing, and later what are the precautions we have to take, and later we have to discuss the second type of hardness testing machine, that is Vickers hardness test, and how to conduct a Rockwell hardness test. These things we will discuss in this session. So we are going to discuss what is hardness and what are the different methods to find out hardness. These things we will discuss in this session. Mainly we are having three types of testing procedures, that is Brinell hardness test and Vickers hardness test and Rockwell hardness test. Okay, so coming to hardness testing, see, hardness is one of the important mechanical property already we have discussed. What is meant by hardness? Okay, already we know that what is meant by hardness. See, hardness is nothing but, if you see, it is the ability of the material to resist indentation, penetration, scratching or cut. So abrasion, that means it should not wear out, it should not be scratched easily, it should not be cut easily. Okay, it should not be shaped easily means cutting only, that means removing some material. So mainly it should not, it is the ability of the material to resist indentation, penetration, scratching and cut. All this comes under this uh, hardness of the material. So if it is having that ability, then we can say that that material is having good hardness. So is there any method to find out that hardness? So what are the procedures to be adapted to find out the hardness of any material? See here we are having three types of tests to find out hardness of a material. So what are those three tests? These are very, very important. Brinell hardness test. And the second one is Vickers hardness test. And the third one is Rockwell's hardness test. So here what we have did, we have defined different, here we have defined what is meant by hardness, and later we have discussed what are the procedures we are having to find out the hardness of different materials. Okay, so what is hardness? Hardness is the ability of a material to resist indentation, penetration, scratching and cutting, shaping. Shaping means removing some material here also. So this comes under hardness. Okay, and how hardness can be determined by using Brinell hardness and Vickers hardness and Rockwell's hardness testing machine. So how to do? So if you take the first test, that is Brinell hardness test. So Brinell hardness test we will discuss here. So how to do Brinell hardness test and how the test can be performed and what is the formula to find out the Brinell hardness number. See here, here we are having So in Brinell hardness test, what we will do? Specimen, already we know that specimen which is going to be tested. The specimen will be placed on anvil. Anvil means it is supporting work table like that. So you have to keep that specimen onto the anvil, and handwheel is rotated so that the specimen along with the anvil moves up and contact with the steel ball. So what is the steel ball? Steel ball is nothing but the indenter. So what you are doing? You are keeping that specimen onto the anvil, and you are rotating the rotating wheel such that it can be moved up. So it can be moved up and it can touch the indenter. So indenter is nothing but used to apply the force. So here the indenter is a steel ball. So the desired load is applied and the steel ball is pressed into the specimen. So later what we will do, we will apply the load. How much load you want to apply, you can apply here, and next the steel ball can be pressed into the specimen. So when you apply the load, what will happen? The steel ball can be uh, it can be pressed against the material, that means against the material of the specimen, and you will get an indentation. So here the diameter of the indentation on the specimen is measured by using of microscope. So after applying the load, what will happen? The steel bar is pressed against the specimen. So because of that one, you will get indentation. So because of that indentation, you will get some diameter indentation. So it will have some diameter. So we have to measure that diameter of the indentation by using a microscope. So you have to measure the diameter of the indentation. That means indentation by using a microscope. Based on that one, we will further calculate the Brinell hardness number. So what we did here, what is the first few steps here? First, you should keep the specimen onto the anvil, and later you have to rotate the rotating wheel in such a way that the anvil along with your specimen should be lifted up such that it should come in contact with the indenter. It should come in contact with the indenter. Indenter means, so you are having a steel ball here for applying the load. So it should come into contact with the indenter steel ball, and when you apply the load, when you apply the desired load, what will happen? The steel ball can be pressed into the specimen. The steel ball can be pressed into the specimen, and you will get some indentation onto the specimen. Okay, so if you get an indentation, that indentation will have some diameter. That diameter cannot be measured normally. So by using microscope, we can measure the diameter of the indentation. So diameter of the indentation can be measured by using a microscope. Okay, so these are the first steps we have to follow in the Brinell hardness testing machine. And later, what we have to do? So you have measured the diameter. See here. So this is the Brinell hardness testing machine. If you see here, see. So this is your specimen. This one. This one is the, I will show you clearly. See here. This is the specimen. So this is the anvil you are having. This is the anvil you are having. And here you are having a screw mechanism, and you are having a rotating wheel, rotating hand wheel you are having. So here you are elevating, screw is here, and indent holder is here. Okay, so this is the indent holder. See here, this one, this is the indent holder. Here you are having a micrometer attached sometimes. So sometimes micrometer will not be attached. Okay, so this is the micrometer attached. Okay, so for so micrometer means to get exact moment. Okay, so what are the steps we have discussed just now? So first, what we have to do, on the anvil you have to keep the specimen, and you have rotate the hand wheel in such a way that it can be lifted up. So you are having a steel ball indenter here. So you have to rotate the hand wheel in such a way that it should touch the steel ball indenter. Later, what you have to do, you have to apply the required amount of load. So you have to apply the required amount of load. After applying, what will happen when you apply the load? The indenter will be pressed against the specimen. That means you will get some indentation on the specimen. So the indentation is having a diameter. The diameter can be measured by using a microscope. Okay, so this is the diagram of a Brinell hardness testing machine. See here. So what is happening here? You can discuss. See, this is your specimen. This one is your specimen. Okay, and this is your ball indenter. This is your ball indenter, and this is your specimen. So what is happening when you press like this? When you press like this, when you press like this, so because of this ball indenter, it is can be pressed down. So what is happening onto the specimen? You are getting a indentation like this. So this indentation is having a diameter d, small d. So here small d is the diameter of the indentation, and whereas this capital D is the diameter of the steel ball. So these parameters we should understand. What is capital D and what is small d? Capital D is the diameter of the steel ball and small d is the diameter of the indentation. Okay. So based on these two parameters, we can have a formula to find out the Brinell hardness number. So here, this is your specimen, this one, and this is your ball indenter. You are applying some force on the ball indenter. So it is pressed here. It is pressed here. So because of this pressing, what is happening? You are getting some indentation. This indentation is having a diameter of small d. So these are the parameters. So small d and capital D can be used for further calculation of the Brinell hardness number. See here. So what is BHN? BHN is nothing but Brinell hardness number. So Brinell hardness number can be found out by using this equation. What is that equation? Load by area of indentation or impression. So how much load you are applying? How much load you are applying? How much load you are applying? And what is the area of indentation? So how you will get this area of indentation? Because we know the diameter of the indentation, that is small d, and you are having a diameter of a steel ball. From that one, you will find out the area of the indentation. So how the formula will look like? So this is the formula we are having. See this one. See load is the P is the load applied. So if you take the values, so BHN, Brinell hardness number, is equal to, the general formula is load by area of indentation. So how much load you are applying and how much area of indentation you are getting. So how to find out the area of indentation? Load is nothing but P here. See here. Here P is the load, and here capital D is the diameter of the steel ball, whereas small d is the diameter of the indentation. See here, load applied on the indenter, that is kgs, and diameter of steel ball in mm, and diameter of the indentation in mm we have to consider while calculating the BHN number. This is the procedure to find BHN number by using Brinell hardness testing machine. Okay, so I am repeating here. So what we did in the Brinell hardness test. So first we have to take the Brinell hardness test machine. In that one, you have to take the specimen and you have to place the specimen onto the anvil, and you rotate the handwheel in such a way that that specimen along with your anvil can be moved up such that it should touch the steel ball indenter. Okay, when it is touching the steel ball indenter, later what you have to do, you have to apply the required amount of load. When you apply the load, what will happen? The steel ball can be forced against the specimen, So because of this forcing against the specimen, what you will get? You will get an indentation. Okay, so you have to find out the diameter of the indentation by using a microscope. So you are having a diameter of capital D for the steel ball indenter, and you are getting a indenter of diameter small d. By using these parameters, we can find out BHN. How to find out BHN, Brinell hardness number? To find out the Brinell hardness, you are having a formula that is load by area of indentation. Indentation is nothing but it is the one type of impression. When you apply the force on that one, you are getting some impression under the specimen. So for that specimen, for that indentation or impression, you are having a diameter. So you have to find out area of that indentation. So how to find out that area? You are applying a load. How much load? P. Generally, load can be taken in kilograms, kgs, and divided by area. How to find out the area? So area is nothing but pi d into d minus root of d square minus d square by 2. So by using this relation, so you are having capital D and you are having small d values. So by substituting these values, you will find out the area of indentation. If you substitute all these values in this equation, what you get? You will get BHN number, Brinell hardness number. So this is the procedure to find out Brinell hardness number for a particular material. See here, less load is applied for measuring hardness of soft materials and vice versa. See here in Brinell hardness, we are unable to find hardness of hard materials. Generally, this Brinell hardness test is used for soft material, but the required load is selected from the following relations. So how to select a material load for different materials? So you are having a table. Okay, so how to select? P by d square. What is d? Diameter of the indenter. So what is P? Load. So based on this relation, we have to choose a load. P by d square is equal to 30. From this one, we have to find out the required load. So d is known value, 30 is a known value. By substituting these two values, we can find out P. If you know P, so easily you can apply that much load for that material and we can calculate it. Okay, so P by d square is equal to 30 for steel and P by d square is equal to 10 for copper and 5 for aluminum and 1 for lead, tin and their alloys. Okay, so you can find out the load by using this relation. Generally, this method is used for soft materials. We will apply less amount of load also. See, the table shows different loads for different materials when we use a carbide ball of 10 mm diameter. See here, we are fixing the diameter of the ball indenter as 10 mm. So how much load you may get? So how much load you may get by taking the same relation what we have discussed, that is, what is the formula? P by d square is equal to 30. So by using this relation, we can find out d. If d is known, 10 mm dia is known, then you can easily find out P value. Okay, so here we are having different P values. First one is load P is equal to 3000 kg for steel, 1000 kg for copper and 500 for aluminum. Okay, by fixing a ball dia of 10 mm. So ball die of 10 mm you are having. From that one, you are finding out these values. Load of different load for different materials. Okay. So the time taking between 10 to 15 seconds depending of the alloy being examined. So how much time we have to apply the load? So generally when you apply the load, you have to keep some time before releasing. That means you have to keep the load in action for 10 to 15 seconds. So 10 to 15 seconds, what we have to do? We have to apply the force. Okay, 10 to 15 minutes, you have to apply the force. Okay, so here what we have discussed just now is how to go take the load value. So what is the equation we are having? P by d square is equal to 30 for steel, P by d square is equal to 10 for copper, P by d square is equal to 5 for aluminum, P by d square is equal to 1 for lead, tin and its alloys. So if you take lead alloy or tin alloy, you have to take P by d square is equal to 1. So if D is the diameter is known, then easily we can find out the load value. So by fixing the diameter of the ball as 10 mm, so we are finding out different loads for different materials like steel, copper, and aluminum. For steel, it is 3000 kg, for copper 1000 kg, and aluminum 500 kg. And how much time we have to apply the load? So how much duration we have to keep the load intact? That means it is 10 to 15 seconds. The load should be acted on the specimen such that you should get a indentation, proper indentation for the examination. Okay, this is also very, very important. Okay, so what are the precautions we have to take to find out a Brinell in calculating this Brinell hardness test? Okay, so first precaution, see, Brinell test should be performed on smooth, flat specimens. That means you have to select a specimen such that it should be flat and smooth. And if any dirt or scales are formed on that one, that should be cleaned. Otherwise, you will not get proper results. That means before testing, the specimen should be cleaned properly. It should be free from dirt and scales. And successive information made too close to one another can produce high reading because of the work hardening. That means if you want, for example, if you are having, that means successive information, successive impression should not be close to one another. Here, that means, for example, if you are having, this is specimen, initially you made an impression here. Don't make very close to this one. You keep some distance and you keep another impression. Then only you will get proper results. If you make very near to that one, what will happen? You will get the diameter of the indentation will be more. That means you will get more results. Okay, which leads to a wrong conclusion. So that's why we should maintain one impression to another impression some distance. Okay, that is the second precaution we have to take. Okay, what is the first precaution we are taking? First, the Brinell, when you want to perform a Brinell testing, Brinell hardness test, first you have to clean the specimen such that it should not have dirt and scale. And later, when you want to make more number of specimens to take the average value, so you have to keep in mind that it should not come into very closer to each one. So when you have that thing, what will happen? You will get a larger values, which leads to wrong interpretation. So that's why we have to maintain some gap from one impression to another impression such that you should get proper results. These are the precautions we have to take while performing a Brinell hardness test. What are the advantages? Okay, so what are the advantages of this Brinell hardness test? Okay, we are having some advantages here. It results can be correlated with the tensile properties. Okay, here whatever the results you are getting in the Brinell hardness test, that can be correlated with the tensile properties of the material, and careful surface preparation is not required. Only we are just cleaning. Here just we are cleaning the surface, but we are not, no need to prepare a surface very cleanly. The impression made by the Brinell hardness is large enough to represent the hardness, not affected by small spots and hard spots. If you are having any soft spots or hard spots already on the specimen, that will not influence your impression. That means your indentation will not be affected by these small soft spots or small hard spots. So that is the advantage of this Brinell hardness test. So what is happening here? What are the advantages here? You can correlate the results what you are happening in the Brinell hardness test with the tensile properties of the material, and there is no need of preparing a surface. Okay, no need, we cannot take much care in preparing a surface, because just we are cleaning the surface. To get a cleaned surface, it should be free from your dirt and scales. That's enough. And if you take the third advantage, here it will not be influenced by small soft spots or small hard spots that are already present in the specimen, because we are having enough impression that can be created onto the workpiece by using this Brinell hard testing machine. So it will not be influenced by these small spots, whether it is hard or soft one. These are the advantages of Brinell hardness test. And next, limitations. So what are the limitations we are having? So what are the advantage or disadvantages we can say? See here, we are having few disadvantages also. See, the Brinell test produces a large impression. Already we have discussed, because we are producing a large impression, the soft spots or small soft spots or small hard parts will not influence that impression. Because why? Because we are getting a huge impression. That means a big impression, you are getting large impression. But because of this large impression, we can say that the specimen may be damaged. Specimen may be damaged. That means it's somewhat we can say that it is a destructive testing type. Destructive type. So when you are having a large impression on that one, it will be visible to everyone. That means you are spoiled that component, we can say, right? So that means it is a destructive type of testing here. Destructive type of testing here. So that's why, because of the large impression, it can be treated as a destructive testing. That means we cannot use in that tested specimen for further applications, because the impression will be visible to everyone. Okay, so that means it is somewhat what we can say, it is damaged, we can say. And next, the test of the piece which is can be tested is limited to the opening between the anvil and the penetrator. Okay, simply we can understand this one in simple words. So it is a size limitation. So you cannot accommodate big sizes, because only it can be accommodated between the anvil and the penetrator. So how much anvil height? What is the gap between your anvil and the penetrator? Only that much size can be limited. Only we can accommodate that much size. Beyond that, we are unable to accommodate. So that is the second limitation. That means size is a limitation, because just we can provide the gap between your indenter and the anvil. So second one is the test specimen. Test specimen is having some size limitation, because we have to use a specimen such that it can be accommodated between the faces of the anvil and your indenter. And next, third one is Brinell hardness testing takes much time compared to the Rockwell hardness testing. Okay, Rockwell hardness testing gives rapid results compared to your Brinell hardness test, because it takes much time to calculate. Whereas in Rockwell hardness testing, we will get direct values. So here very easy. So that it will take lesser time compared to your Brinell hardness testing machine. So that's why Brinell hardness testing takes much time compared to other methods like Rockwell hardness testing. So what are the limitations we are having? So the first limitation is damage occur to the specimen. Here in the Brinell hardness testing, what we are having a big impression. We are having a big impression or big indentation on the workpiece. So which leads to this one type of destructive testing procedure. So which cannot be used for further. And the second one is the test of the specimen is size of the test specimen is limited because it can be accommodated between the faces of the your anvil and your indenter. So how much gap is there between your anvil and the indenter, that much gap size of specimen can be accommodated. If the size is more, we are unable to accommodate it. Brinell hardness testing takes much time to compare to other methods. Brinell hardness to find out the BHN number takes much time compared to your Rockwell values. So this is these are the three limitations for a Brinell hardness test. Okay, so what are the things we have discussed till now? See, we have discussed what is hardness and what are the tests here we are having to find out the hardness values. Okay, so what we are having, hardness is nothing but is the ability of material to resist indentation, penetration, scratching. Okay, and abrasion. And if you go for the testing procedures, what we are having three types: Brinell hardness testing machine, Rockwell hardness testing machine, and Vickers hardness testing machine. So how the things will happen in Brinell hardness testing? In Brinell hardness, what is the procedure? Okay, how to perform the test we have discussed. And later we have discussed how to calculate the BHN number by using two parameters, that is capital D and small d. What is capital D? It is diameter of the steel ball indenter or ball indenter, and small d is the diameter of the indentation. Okay. Later we have discussed the precautions. What are the precautions we have to take? And next, what are the advantages of this Brinell hardness testing machine? And later, what are the limitations or disadvantages of this Brinell hardness test machine? Okay, next, Vickers hardness test. So the second test is Vickers hardness test. See here, why we have to go for Vickers hardness test? We are having Brinell hardness. What is the advantage of this Vickers hardness test, and what is the superiority of this Vickers hardness test and the Brinell hardness test? Here, small cross section. So hardness of specimens having small cross section, and surface hardened elements, and specimen having very hardness. So in the Brinell hardness test, only we can calculate the hardness of soft materials, whereas in Vickers hardness test, we can calculate the hardness of very hard materials also and hardened elements also. And if you are having a small cross section also, we can use this Vickers hardness because we are using here a diamond indenter. See this one. If you see here, this is the diamond indenter we are going to use in the Vickers hardness test. See this one. This is the diamond indenter. See this one. This is the diamond indenter. Okay. And this angle between this angle and this angle, how much? 136 degrees between the opposite faces. Why we are saying it is opposite faces? Because here we are using a pyramid. So here we are using a pyramid type of diamond indenter, and which is having an angle of 136 degrees between the faces, opposite faces. Okay, by using this one, because of this small, here I will show you. See here, here it is very pointed. Because of this pointedness, by If you are having a small cross section also, we can use this diamond indenter, that means Vickers hardness test, to find out the hardness value. Okay, so this is the indenter generally we will use in Vickers hardness testing. See, so what will happen in the Vickers hardness test? See here, this is your specimen and this is your diamond pyramid indent. Chudandi, quadrangular pyramid. So you are having a pyramid which is having an angle of 136 degrees between the opposite faces. So you are placing this indenter onto the specimen, you are applying the load, so you are getting an indentation here. Okay, this is the shape of the indentation. Okay, so if you see in this direction, you will get this, this is the shape. So even though you are having a small cross section like this also, if you are having a small cross section like this also, it can also be measured. Okay, if you are having a small cross section, small, very small cross section, also it can also be measured by using this Vickers hardness testing. See, this is the Vickers hardness testing, which is attached to the computer. Okay, directly we can see the values here. Okay, you may have normal one also, but this is connected to the computer. So if you see the Vickers hardness test, how to find out the DPN? See, Vickers hardness testing. Here a polished square-based pyramid diamond tool with an angle of 136 degrees between the faces is used. This one we should remember. So how much angle? 136. Which type of this one? Square-based pyramid and made with the diamond. This tool is under gradual load makes an impression on the, so we have to apply the load gradually. You have to apply the load gradually. So the load when divided by the area of indentation, so we have to divide the load with the area of indentation, then you will get a DPN. DPN is nothing but pyramid hardness number. Okay, pyramid hardness number. So pyramid hardness number DPN. Okay, pyramid hardness number DPN. That is nothing but 2p sine theta by 2 into d square. This is the formula. 2p sine theta by 2 divided by d square. This formula is used to find out the dp1 value, where p is the load in kg, theta is the angle, and d is the mean depth of the two diagonals. Mean depth of the two diagonals we have to find out from the impression. So how the load will be applied in Vickers hardness test? The load on the plunger carrying the diamond is applied by a cam, and which is rotated by a drum on which a wire carrying a weight is wound. So you are applying the load onto the cam by a onto the diamond by a cam, and that cam is rotated by a drum which is carrying a wire, which is having a wire carrying a load W. So the load and the time during which it is applied mechanical are controlled. So how much? Generally 10 to 15 seconds the load can be applied, so that duration can be controlled by this mechanism, and we will control that one. Okay. And what are the advantages we will discuss? So it gives greater precision in measurement of hardness as compared to Brinellness. So compared to your Brinell hardness test, you will get a precision, that means accurate values you will get here. And the Vickers tester can be used testing hard materials, because here we are using diamond indenter. So we can test hard materials also by using this test. And what are the limitations and disadvantages are revealed. Vickers hardness testers are much more complicated and expensive because we are using diamond indenter. So it will be cost will be more compared to your Brilliant hardness test. What are the limitations? They may be considered as semi-micro hardness testers because of the small size. Micro hardness, okay, we are not because of this diamond indenter, you are getting small impressions. That's why you can call it as micro hardness testers. This is the limitation. Okay, so till now what we have discussed, we will discuss. See here, till now what we have discussed what is meant by hardness and what are the different tests that are available to find out the hardness, that is Brinell hardness test, Rockwell hardness test, and Vickers hardness test. In that first one, we have taken the first is Brinell hardness test. So how to perform a Brinell hardness test? So how to perform a Brinell hardness test? You have to keep the specimen onto the anvil and you have to rotate it such that it should touch the steel ball indenter. And when you apply the load for 10 to 15 seconds, you will get a impression or indentation, and you have to remove the load, and you have to find out the diameter of the indentation by using a formula that is BHN is equal to load by area of indentation. So by using the values capital D and small d, you have to find out the BHN number. So this is the procedure how to find out a hardness by using Brinell hardness testing machine. Later we have discussed what are the precautions we have to take in a Brinell hardness test, and what are the advantages of Brinell hardness test, and what are the limitations in the Brinell hardness test we have discussed. Later we came across another testing procedure, that is Vickers hardness testing machine. So what is meant by Vickers hardness testing? So Vickers hardness testing is nothing but Vickers hardness testing is used for smaller cross sections, for harder materials, and for stain hardening elements also we can use. So here, why you are using these harder materials also for testing purpose? Because here we are using a diamond indenter. How the diamond indenter will be? So you are having a pyramid type of diamond indenter, which is having an angle of 136 degrees between the opposite faces. So when you apply the load onto the diamond indenter, it can be pressed against to the specimen, and by using the relation 2p sin theta by 2p sin theta by 2 by d square, from that one we will find out the DPN, pyramid hardness number we will find out. Pyramid hardness number we can find out. And later we have discussed what are the advantages and disadvantages. So what are the advantages we have discussed? That means here we are using diamond indenter which gives precision values. So compared to your Brinell hardness test, here you will get more accurate values, more precision values. And here also we are using this method for harder materials because we are using a diamond indenter because diamond is stronger. That's why these are the two advantages of this Vickers test. And what are the disadvantages or the limitations? See here, Vickers hardness tests are more complicated and expensive because you should have 136 degrees. That is, you have to maintain that value properly, and you are using a diamond indenter. That means the cost will be more. So it is complicated as well as expensive compared to your Brinell hardness test. And coming to limitations, here we are getting a small amount of impressions, small, very less impressions you are getting. So that's why here what we can say, we are having, we can treat it as semi-micro hardness testing machine. Semi-micro hardness testing machine. So Here we have discussed two methods. So first one is Brinell hardness test and second one is Vickers hardness test. The procedure, advantages, limitations. Here the procedure, advantages and limitations. Okay. So these are very, very important in the subject point of view. Okay. In the coming sessions, we are going to discuss what is Rockwell hardness test and what is B scale, C scale. All these things we are going to discuss in the coming sessions. So with this one, I'm closing this session. And in the coming sessions, we will discuss that means some quiz questions on these three methods and some important questions we will discuss in the coming sessions.